David, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like I should have been recording. Like, this is how it always goes.
We spoke for like an hour before.
Yeah, and it was so good. It was like, it's like your first time connecting in real life. 100%. And then there's just so much because you have so much amazing content online, and we're going to dive into your whole journey. But it's like so awesome to like hear it all the past 40 minutes, guys. Now I got to go rewind.
Right.
So David, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So to kick things off, it's like a loaded way we start. I always get the guests to give us a little bit of a background on you, like share into the abundant human that you are and the work that you're doing with your brands, because you got a lot going on.
Okay, so I mean, it's been a journey since I was about 15 years old. I got into investing early on just because I had that hunger, made a bunch of money when I was young, lost a bunch of money, and around probably the age of 15, 16, an uncle brought me to Kabbalah. He said, you should study the spiritual wisdom. I said, I'm not into religion or anything like that. He's like, no, you have to understand it's the spiritual laws of this world and you're going to be able to manifest success through it. So I said, okay. So I went to a seminar. It changed my life. Sorry. It changed my life. Wow. And I dove all in. I sped through high school. I graduated early from UCLA. And when I was around 19 years old, I decided to join the Kabbalah Center full time to teach this wisdom. And I did so as a volunteer. I traveled the world, probably gave over 1,000 seminars, got to meet people one-on-one, doing coaching spiritually in every facet of life. And then when I was 29, I met MaryRuth. We got married, and about a year later, we started the brand called MaryRuth Organics. And so we started off as a niche little liquid vitamin brand on Amazon. About 10 years later, it grew to be pretty prolific. We're about 200 products. Wow. We're worldwide. We are the largest vitamin seller on Amazon. Actually, most people don't know that. We're the largest liquid vitamin brand in the nation. We're number one in kids, infant, and toddler. We have about 160 employees. We're fully remote. And I think it's safe to say that everything that I learned on the spiritual path of Kabbalah and that I learned vicariously through the people I met, we implemented in building the brand of MaryRuth as well.
Wow. It's so many things to unwrap there.
Yeah, there's so much.
There's so much. And like that journey too, there's so much success and just beautiful things have unfolded in such a short time, which is crazy.
Correct.
With doing all these things, what's your purpose and your why? Like what drives you? Because we're going to unwrap the nitty gritty of things, but I'm sure like to have both those huge areas, you need to have a lot of energy every single day to bring to life.
Yeah. So what I feel I was lucky in receiving was that I found a spiritual path that gave me a spiritual system of how to deal with challenges early on in life. And then I also got to see all the mistakes everybody was making because they came to me, they opened up their lives intimately to me, like every kind of personality you can imagine, from even like I remember a member of the mafia wanting to study Kabbalah because he was looking for peace of mind from all the guilt and shame and things that he had done. And I mean, the worst things you can imagine. And I got to hear these stories. I got to hear stories of people who created tremendous success and then lost it, or people who had gone through death, or people who been exposed to addiction or whatnot. So as I learned all that, it gave me a foundation of what to do and not to do in my own life as we built a brand. Because with that brand came thousands of challenges, a lot of roadblocks, a lot of success, which then has the potential for a big downfall as well. So I think while a lot of my friends, a lot of people I know, they build these great brands, they have these great exits, and then there's a spiritual void that they go look for. So I think for me, it was really helpful having that in the first 10 years of my life.
Yeah, that's so profound, especially at that age. Why do you think people like feel a void? Like, what can someone do to not have that void come up? Like feeling empty or not knowing like what their purpose is, because you had that like so clear from a young age and it just was so evident in your life.
Right. So if you have to put it in a structure, Kabbalah explains that there's 4 levels of desire. And every person in this world follows these 4 levels, and they're seeking to fulfill these 4 levels. So the first is just the basic need to survive. If a person is running for his life, he's not thinking about his relationships. He's not thinking about what restaurant he's going to eat at that weekend. He's just thinking about, how do I survive this moment? So that's a basic level of desire. Some people in this world are always just dealing with that first level. The second level is the pleasures of the body. There's things that we want for our own pleasure. There's attraction, there's lust, there's love, there's food and entertainment, there's travel. So these are all things that we seek to fulfill. Then there's a higher level than that. You see, once people have the first 2, they're seeking this third level. This third level is power and knowledge. And so you see people who maybe are wealthy, then they want to run for office. They want to be in a position. You see a lot of wealthy people all of a sudden open up a restaurant because there's something powerful about, this is my restaurant. I bring people to it. I have access to different crowds of people. But what's interesting is, even as they reach this third level, there's an emptiness. It's not enough. So the Kabbalists explain the higher level is the level of what the soul craves to connect to what's called the light of the Creator. There's this endless force of energy in this world behind everything. It is a positive energy. It is a good energy that creates miracles. And what the soul is really looking for is that. But what's happening is, because it cannot find that, or it doesn't know how to connect with this endless light of the Creator, it's finding little bits of sampling light in all the physical things in this world. So what the Kabbalists explain is, if you actually aim for the 4th level, if you actually aim to bind your soul to this universal energy, which we all are meant to do, it's our birthright, we came to this world to do that, you get all 4 levels. So all the other things that you're looking for in your life start to come to you instead of you chasing it.
What are things people could do daily to kind of connect with that level and even have almost the realizations too, or the awareness?
Well, you said something powerful when we were talking earlier, because you're even realizing it yourself in talking with people. Everyone that I talk to intrinsically has this feeling of this higher power. Like, everybody wants to connect to their Creator. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to put it in words. And as a result, they just kind of try to access it by being successful, or looking for love, or looking for a relationship that feeds them. So everyone I talk to, especially when I have these conversations, people right away, they hear it and they're like, yes, that is exactly what I want. The first step is to realize that it exists. So you have the ability to connect to this realm of energy. It's available all the time, and you have the free will to connect to it. We were born disconnected from it so that we can earn a connection to it. Because you do not appreciate what you do not choose. You do not appreciate what you do not earn. So our soul literally came to this world and said, I don't want to be born with my soulmate. I don't want to be born knowing my purpose. I want to enter a family situation that is maybe toxic or confusing, or I want to be born to parents who get divorced. I want to enter a world where it is dark so that I can make my own connection to that light force. And unfortunately, most people don't have the roadmap. Nobody teaches this in school. But Kabbalah kind of explains the whole spiritual system of how to make that connection.
That's so profound. So it also brings you, if you're open to doing the work and like leaning into learning, it gives you hope and faith, right? To know that like what you're going through is serving you, and like you're on this path or with this family or with this partner because you have the blessing of like getting out of it.
Correct.
And it's like such a perspective shift.
100%.
How would you recommend someone can work on rewiring that internal programming to like understand what they're capable of and then have the courage to take action?
So one of the concepts that I talk about a lot, both in the business world or in our spiritual classes, is this idea that every soul came to this world with something that it needs to correct. And there's many aspects to this correction. Kabbalah calls it tikkun, the correction of the soul. And these are usually negative traits, fears, stuff that we brought from past lives. And as a result, what the soul is doing is the soul is choosing relationships, choosing family, choosing, like we choose our parents because we believe that these are the best parents, even if they're toxic parents, to awaken that which is in my soul that I need to change. So the traumas that people have in their lives has less to do with the fact that, oh, as a child, this happened to me, so I have these fears. These fears existed in your soul before you even came into this world, and you attracted people who would awaken the fears that are already inside of you, right? So the first understanding is we have these limitations, and the only free will we have in this world is not who you marry or what business path you get to. What my teachers taught me is if you work on transforming this spiritual baggage that you came to the world with, the creator will then show you the right relationships for you. You shift to a new destiny, the right business opportunities. And if you think about even like how we built MaryRuth, we never even thought about starting a vitamin company. Our focus was not on that. The focus was more on a spiritual relationship with each other and with ourselves. But it opened up a gate that the universe said, this is the path that you should be taking. And then miracle after miracle occurred.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of people trying to force it in the physical world or try to force relationships, or they're out there looking for what's for them. When in reality, all you have to do is access this energy, and then the energy reveals it to you.
It's so beautiful because it's like when you take the right aligned action, like the portals open up, right?
100%.
Like you go to a coffee shop, and when you surrender too, it's like when you go to a coffee shop and then you end up meeting the person you were meant to meet.
100%. And by the way, I noticed this about you, and you have this energy which attracts those realities. Technically, we should be seeing those coincidences or those miracles several times a day. I mean, truthfully, we should be seeing it every 5 minutes if a person's really connected. But most people might see it once a year, and they think that's the norm. The actual norm is to see, wow, I can't believe that just happened once an hour. At least for us. That should be the goal.
Gabrielle Bernstein, I love her work. She always says
too.
Miracles are natural.
Miracles should be natural.
And I always tell myself that. And it's so much of a rewiring. I have a lot of affirmations and just different mantras I keep in my back pocket, and I always pull them up. And it's like, yeah, if you don't run that script and like whatever narrative, mental programming is in your head, like if you think like, I hear this a lot and I hate it. I have to mute it out when people are like, oh, something's gonna happen that's bad because life's too good. Like you're asking for it, so then that's just gonna become into your reality.
So you just brought up a great point. The garbage that we bring from past lives, what they end up causing are these limited belief systems and what I like to call competing belief systems. So for example, I meet a lot of men or women who say, I want to grow or scale my company. So let's give an example. Let's say there's this man, he has 10 employees and he makes maybe $1 million a year. And he says, hey, I want to grow my company and make $5 million. And he's telling me that, he's telling everybody that, he's hiring a business coach, he's going to all these workshops and events. But years go by and he's stuck. He can't raise money. He can't scale the brand. What's going on? Technically, what's happening is if the gates aren't open for him, if he's not making that revenue that he wants, it's because he has another desire that is hidden inside of him that desires and craves for the brand not to grow.
Yeah.
So I would ask him the question, what part of you doesn't want to be successful? First, everybody's defensive and they say, but then you get deeper and I say, do you like having employees? Oh, I hate having employees. Why? Because they're all a headache and they're unreliable. And especially here in California, it's this, that, and the other thing. So I would say to them, I say, do you realize what you just said? You subconsciously are hoping the company doesn't grow so you don't have to deal with 20, 30 staff members. A lot of people who are in their 30s who are single, they're telling everybody they want to be in a loving long-term relationship.
Yeah.
But they're also not honest with the fact that they love being single. They love, think about it, you come to your apartment, it's just you, nobody tells you what to do. You don't have to deal with kids stealing your time, energy, your body, your hormones can stay balanced. all of these things. So subconsciously, we're like, I don't want to meet a man.
Yeah.
Or I want to meet an unavailable man because that will fulfill my need for energy, but at least I know I won't have to be committed to it. And then I'm still complaining to all my friends that he's unavailable. So part of our job is to help people understand all the desires and belief systems they have and show how they're competing with each other.
Wow. So what is the right question? We're so big on like journaling. I'm on my solos. I'm like, create space for yourself. Because like that's when for me, all my realizations come when I create space, and I'm like, okay, like for example, like I like go to New York a lot for when I'm there for work, and when I'm there, I move a mile a minute. There's something every hour of the day, and I thrive off of that. But then I come back to LA and I have a lot more space, and I'm just like, let's love on this space. Like, what is coming up for you? Let's sit with it. Because I feel like sometimes for me, it's like when I'm there, I'm like so go. You lose that, like, you just, sometimes I check in, but like sometimes you could just be running on autopilot, and you can be doing that anywhere. And that's when we can be playing other people's narratives, you know, like maybe in a relationship that's not serving us, doing the same things every day that's self-sabotaging our success. So like, what are some powerful questions maybe someone can ask themselves and sit with? And then hopefully they can end up working with you or like looking at all your content and getting everything that they can digest. But if they're alone, you know, and they just want to start doing this inner work.
You just said something extremely powerful, and it's a spiritual concept that I think you've now seen works for you, which is, I taught this in one of my prosperity seminars, that one of the things I realized is that at least 20% of my time needs to always stay free. So you have to audit your life every week, every month, and ask yourself, what's my schedule like? And if you're at 100% capacity, if you're burning the candle at both ends, the problem with that is you will subconsciously never want to grow or be more successful because you're overwhelmed. I recognize that sometimes when I have an executive who's overwhelmed, well, what are they thinking about when they go home? What are they thinking about when they're at the dinner table with their family? What are they thinking about when they're in the shower in the morning getting ready to come to work? They're thinking, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. I have so much work. I hope the business doesn't grow any more than it is, because I can't handle more work.
Yeah, and you're showing the universe, God, like you can't handle it.
Exactly. You're telling, because the creator will listen to our desires, and the energy will flow to where the desires are. So if I have let's say I have 10 executives, I have 10 vice presidents, each one of them runs a department. My job spiritually as their boss, as a spiritual boss, is to find out which one is burning out, because that means that subconsciously they're telling the universe, no more business, do not grow this brand. And this is why having certain talent is so powerful. You know, people pay hundreds of millions of dollars to CEOs to run companies. These CEOs aren't any more talented than the executives under them or the engineers who are actually making the product. So why are you paying $100 million a year to this one person? And it is because their consciousness, their ability to tap into energy on behalf of the whole company is endless. It's unlimited. You think of people like Elon Musk. He thinks it is easy to do what we all think is impossible. And because he believes it's easy and he has certainty in it, he attracts the right wisdom, the right engineers, the right team, the right wisdom that was never even been revealed before. And that's why you pay this man billions of dollars a year to run whatever company. Any company you give to him, he will scale to infinity because he has no limited beliefs or competing beliefs the way maybe we do. So it is just so important to kind of look at, like, here's something else I notice about having the free time. As soon as you realize you don't have any free time, you have to delegate. That's when you have to hire more people. You have to offload tasks. It's very hard for entrepreneurs to let go of control. They think they can do everything better. This is also a limited belief. There's fear there. This is the baggage that you brought from a past life. But here's something interesting that you said. You are in your late 20s, right? You are an Aries. You are very good at what you do. I see that you thrive off of having freedom. Like, if you have freedom, you can manifest. And you also say, like, I need to have you can grind, but you also need free time to be creative and listen to the universe, right? So for every positive quality, there could always be a negative that attaches itself to it. So the fear here could be, let's say you meet an amazing partner, that a romantic partner that's like a soulmate. You may, I want to say you, but a person may feel like, oh, I might lose my freedom here. I might not have any more free time. This person is not going to take any remaining space that I had. And so there could be a subconscious push away. So I share that with our audience because we all have to just be very cognizant of our different desires that we have, and how some of these desires could be good for maybe scaling a business, but could be very detrimental to having a loving relationship.
So true. It's so crazy too with like even the relationship piece of like, I learned this before, like when I was like, oh, I'm going to be open to dating, and then I wasn't creating any space. Like there's no room for a date to come into that calendar. Like there's no, it just doesn't. I got a yoga class in the evening. I got this. I got a habit stack here.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
So it's like, but you know, it's so crazy too. It's like being so honest with yourself. Like lately, well, I've been really trying to sit with myself and be honest. Like, I'm like, why do you want to do this? Like, what are you trying to run?
Do what exactly?
Like, for example, if I have like last year, for example, I thought LA wasn't where I wanted to live. So I was like, I need to leave. I need to go I went to New York for the whole summer, and I was like, this is where I'm going to be happy. And I went there, and I was just the same things. I was in a different spot, like personal growth wise back last year. And I was in the same mental space, just in a different environment. And it was actually worse because it wasn't even like my home base. It was in like humid New York in the summer, and like half the city's not there in the weekends. It's like, now I'm just like, what are you running from always? And also it's just like it's not always fun to do, but it's like put the flashlight back on yourself when someone treats you wrong. Like even with like hiring or clients, if someone...
What's an example of someone or something that has hurt you or wronged you?
Lately, for me, with work, because I've attached my identity to my work since I was 21. And since when I turned 28, it was like, and also in LA, everyone's like, when you turn 28, you're going to have a spiritual awakening. Well, let me just say, they're not wrong, because all of a sudden when I was 28, like I just started questioning a lot about my identity. And I'm not my work. I like to work. I do like to hustle, but I'm like not just an entrepreneur. I'm not just a hustler. I'm not just the girl who's like in this industry who likes to do this. Like I have hobbies. And it's like been such a new experience of like rewriting my own script and identity, and then also putting in boundaries. So I think that was a big thing for me recently that I've been and still navigating through. I'm such a people pleaser, and I've always been the yes person to everyone, especially people that I look up to and I want to please, like clients especially. And for me, having a boundary and maybe not responding to certain people, it's been hard for me, like so hard. Like for example, today, right? I have Coffee and a Good Vibe is something I feel it's not my full time. Like it's something I do for fun. I love it. And it's now been growing into another business. But when I have I treat it like an empire. So that's the other thing. It's like, I'm treating this like it's a bit like when I show up for it, when I prep for it, how I make any brand integrate with this brand. I treat it like we are at 5 million downloads an episode. I have a set routine of like, with clients and like my emails, and me not being on my like agency life right now, I'm like, it's a boundary. Like I'm gonna get to I'll be online at like noon on Friday for my work, and it's like the old me would be so like triggered, like, did I make you upset that I didn't respond to your text in this time? Because I managed a lot of it's on text. But the boundary piece has been great, because I'm learning, like, as you set boundaries from a loving place, people have more respect for you. And if they don't, then I have to be okay with that they're...
I love that. Well, one of the principles of aligning yourself with the light of the Creator is affinity of form. So if we know that the light of the Creator is the cause and not the effect, that means that every time we are the effect, in a given situation, we're disconnecting from that energy. And so the miracles can't occur. So what you said is so powerful. You basically said, I set boundaries whenever I feel I'm the effect. And it could just be a few seconds of a shift in consciousness. Because what we learn is every time you're having a challenging situation, every time pain comes and the lack comes and the fear comes, every single one of us wants to run to instant gratification. We want to either say something, do something, or think something that draws some kind of temporary relief to not feel that pain. But the pain is coming as an opportunity to shift to a new destiny. So every time pain comes, it means now you can shift to a new destiny where maybe in that destiny there is a soulmate relationship. In that destiny, there is an unlock of abundance. There is an unlock of wisdom or certainty or friendship. But you have to shift to that destiny. The only way to shift there is pain must come. Something uncomfortable must happen. And you pause. You do not react. And what that does is it takes you from the cause to the effect, just in the moment of that pause. So this isn't suppressing your reaction. This is actually getting excited, knowing that this uncomfortable situation, even though you don't know how to solve it, is actually an opportunity to shift you to a new destiny. So you're excited about it. You don't feel like you're suppressing. Mm-hmm. So it's very powerful what you're saying, because when a person recognizes that maybe one of their corrections is to be is that we're people pleasing, that's just us being the effect. We're not really giving the right energy to people when we're just kowtowing to them and trying to get them to like us, and we're being different as a result. So I just love what you said, because that does shift you into a world of miracles.
It's so hard though sometimes when you're like leaning into it. For sure, I like feel people who are in that journey, but when I just remind myself, like, from you evolving, you attract what you are, right? So you have to align yourself to the blessings that the universe wants to offer you, but we gotta meet it halfway. And I think that's the beautiful thing too about growing, because if you're in a relationship that's not serving, but then you actually have the courage to get out of it, then they'll be like, everything comes to you in divine timing. So like, yes, I do recommend like dating yourself, really growing that relationship, getting uncomfortable, being alone. But then it's like, it's so rewarding after when that soulmate does enter in. And I think you have to just that's why this kind of content to me, it's everything. Because if you only like knew what could be your reality, then you would be more patient. You would honor the timeline. 100%. You wouldn't be so mean to yourself, and you wouldn't like also settle for anything less.
100%. Here's another powerful concept. Science backs this too. It's a spiritual concept. Time is an illusion, meaning that the past, present, and future all are happening at the same time. Time is just from our perspective. So if the future is actually happening now, and this is why the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle it blew up when it did, because it's double downing on this one spiritual concept. If the future is happening at this exact moment, then all I need to do is be 100% present and aware how to access that world of miracles, the light of the Creator, how to act like the light at this exact moment. And what the negative side tries to do, because we're all born with a negative side, the opponent, this force, this energy that is actually helping us earn the light. It's there as an opponent. It's not a bad thing. It's there to challenge us every step of the way. What his job is to diffuse our energy, to worry about the past, to stress out about the future, and to not be conscious of whatever our goals are. So usually when I talk to people in coaching, it takes me about 30 seconds to realize that they don't have a goal. When I ask them, what do you want? They're going in circles. They're saying they want a little bit of this, they want that, and they have this vertical. There's so many things that they're saying. But what are you actually trying to manifest? Because the universe is confused. If I'm confused, the universe is confused. And that should be a benchmark for all of us. If we cannot explain in 30 seconds what we are trying to manifest, even if it's a stupid goal, just be clear. The universe does not know how to send the appropriate forces and reinforcements to help you.
I love that. I was about to ask you, like, how specific do you want people to get? Like, I feel like that's such a good answer with like 30 seconds really explaining it, because a lot of people, like, they can't. When you ask them that question, they probably couldn't. And it's because they haven't like actually sat with themselves and gotten clear with what their desires are.
Correct. Like you said something powerful. You said like 5 million downloads for your podcast, right? And as I hear that, I see that your mentality is you will not stop till you get there. So that's very powerful. So the free will here is not that this is going to happen, and it's going to happen because you when you have a desire for something, it means that the fulfillment of the desire already exists, causing you to want it. You will never want something unless its potential actually is existing, waiting for you. We would never crave something that doesn't already exist. So the fact that you said the word 5 million, it means that 5 million downloads exist in the future, which actually means it's here right now as well. And it's waiting for you to manifest it. So what I would do if I was working with you, let's say on a spiritual level, I would say, well, what do we have to do to work backwards to hit 5 million? And how can we be hyper-focused, overwhelm the system with whatever it takes to actually break through to that? And one of the things that I share is that when I believe, let's say there's this product here, so let's say I come out with this new product and I want that this product will generate 100 million of revenue this year. Let's say that's the number I come up with. I have to work backwards and ask myself, well, what does it take for this to make 100 million of revenue? Well, if I'm selling it for $50, I need what is that? I need 2 million people to buy this product to generate 100 million. Okay, so how do I get 2 million people to buy it? How do I access 2 million people? And what is it going to cost me to get just one person to buy it? And then I start working backwards. And then what I would do is I would go for a walk and I would talk out to the universe. I would talk to the creator and I would say, I actually demand that you reveal to me immediately who are the people I need to meet. What are the marketing plans I need to put together? And I will start to bombard the system, both spiritually and physically, and go all in until the answers are revealed, until the right people come to me, until the right ideas come to me, until a vision of the marketing campaign comes to me. All of a sudden, when you do that, when you throw all this physical and spiritual energy into a project, and this happened to us once. We had an influencer who took one of our products and it did something magical to her hair. It did something crazy. It was like her gray hair turned black. So she showed a photo of her hair. It was like half gray, half black. And she said, wow, this product helped me, whatever. And it got like 50 million views right away. And then, so that product we were working on, even though I was working over here, we had put so much energy into it, so much focus, so much prayer, so much asking and drawing that it manifested another miracle, on TikTok of someone experiencing that. So the other lesson here is you put so much energy into something with a lot of certainty and a lot of prayer and a lot of asking, and you're very diligent with it. And even if it doesn't manifest that way, it manifests a different way. And somehow the unlock happens. And my mentality is you have to attack it and bombard it until it breaks open, until the universe, you're suffocating the system. I say you're forcing the universe to give you what it is that you're looking for.
That's so beautiful. I want to go into MaryRuth Organics. I have it.
Please.
I want to go into that. But before that, I want to talk about what you mentioned, which is time, like your relationship with time, because in every way, right? Like I know with women, I hear it a lot right now, like living in LA and like being around women who are so powerful and like their 30s and they're like, where's the partner? Like it was supposed to be here already. Where is it? Right. Or like for myself, I feel like I'm crazy with timelines with work and even with having certain timelines of, I have a visa 5 years. When I got my visa 5 years ago, it's crazy. It's going to be 5 years next year. I was like, I have 5 years to for my visa. I've done episodes on this. So people can listen to like the type of visa I have, but it's an E2 visa for your own company, right? Yep. So it's like 5 years has to be, it's like putting that like landmark, like that like timeline on it, when my like spiritual like higher self is like, no, it's gonna all unfold in divine timing, to the universe's timing. But then I feel like in that way, right, we have like these societal timelines, and then also comparing like, oh, this girl started her TikTok and she blew up on the third one, or this girl just started her, like there's so much of that. So how can someone like really have a positive relationship with that?
Such a good question, because what you're trying to do here is you're trying to reconcile two things. One is, I want to manifest something as quick as possible, but what if the creator has a different plan for me? How do you reconcile these two? So the way you do it Kabbalistically is, I have this philosophy that if I want to do something, I have to manifest it in 24 hours. So I put a goal for myself. So let's say, for example, I have a visa and I need to get, what is the next level of getting your, is it getting your visa? Is it getting a passport? What would it be for you?
So I basically, for my particular visa, it's the best way would be just to renew the 5 years. But
what's the best case scenario here? Like, if you could have a request from the government, what would it be?
That they just easily give me like a renewal for 5 years.
That's all you want? But what about just a passport? What about being an American citizen?
That's a long game.
I understand you're telling me it's a long game, but isn't that the best case scenario?
Yeah.
Is it possible?
There's a lottery for Canada, US. I know there is for Australia.
Okay, so if I asked Elon Musk this question, he wouldn't be telling me those things, right? He would, if I challenge Elon Musk to get American citizenship in 24 hours, right? If he can find a way to go to Mars and no one else has, there's a way to get a passport.
Okay, someone buys me, there's like this one visa you can just like pay your way to get.
I mean,
so like infinite.
I mean, okay, I don't know, but here's kind of the point. The point of it is, I would have to tell myself, how do I get American citizenship in 24 hours? That's what I would do. And then literally if that was the only thing I focused on for the next 24 hours, I would ask everybody I know. I would just call people randomly. I would Google. I would overwhelm the system. And then all of a sudden, within 24 hours, you will get messages and you will get clarity. So I tell people, whatever you do, you have to have the momentum to do it within 24 hours. It may not manifest in 24 hours, but what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze the system and you're going to create this viral energy that gets people to gets people to bring you the solution. So I'll give you an example. I remember one time MaryRuth told me, we have 50 people on our customer service team. So we really invest in customer service, but we didn't have a good leader for customer service. So she's like, I want to find the best person in the world to lead our customer service team, and that's going to trickle down to the customers. I said, fine, give me 24 hours. And I was flying that day on a plane. So what I did is I just Googled, this is where I start. I just Googled best customer service companies in the world. Then I saw US Newsweek, top 10 customer service companies in the nation. I said, great. What were they? I went through them. There's all the big name brands. I think the second one was like Neiman Marcus. So what I did is I went to LinkedIn and I wrote up a script of, I'm looking for a certain type of person, and I got them all excited about the brand, and I sent it to the top person, the second, and the third people in the customer service departments of all those top 10 companies in US Newsweek. I shot off about 40 to 50 messages in the first hour that I was on the plane. I just went one by one. By the time I landed, I had 2 to 3 responses of people saying they were interested. Wow. I said, I have to make this hire right away. Can you interview me in the next 2 hours? My own HR team doesn't even know I'm doing this. So I get their resume. I get on a phone with them. I have a 10 to 15 minute call with them. I like their energy. I think they'd be good for the job. They're willing to make a transition. I pass them off to the HR. They make an offer within another day, and then within 72 hours, the whole thing is closed. But my point is, when I want to manifest something, I have to throw everything at it. So the 50 LinkedIn messages, doing it right away, taking the call right away, just push. Now, what if it doesn't happen? What if you did all that work and it doesn't happen? Then you must let go and say, that's exactly the way the creator wanted it.
Yeah, that's what I always tell myself in other ways. Like with moving, I wanted to move a couple months ago.
And it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. So I was like, I'm not meant to. I trust that. I'm going to look. I'm going to continue looking every single day. My little Zillow apartments routine. Like, I'm going to keep looking, but it'll find me in the divine timing when I'm meant to move.
Talking to you for the last 2 hours, I noticed you don't create a space for guilt or feeling bad about your decisions. You don't let it linger or let it drag you down.
If I do, I'm like, I was meant to have that.
Well, so my point is, even if you do, you're choosing to feel that way as opposed to letting that feeling control you, which is a very powerful thing.
It's all conscious. Yeah. It takes work, but I just been trusting that.
Yeah, you're realizing it doesn't serve you. And sometimes we need to feel pain, but you're saying that you're even choosing to feel that pain because there's a process you need to go through.
Mm-hmm. My dad got really sick and he's my best friend. So like going through that whole journey, I feel like was such a big, like now, luckily he's like still okay. I was like telling my mom, I was like, it brought our family core unit even closer than we ever, like we're all best friends, brought us even closer. My dad's the most positive person through going through such an intense like chemo journey. And it's like there's so many blessings out of something that's so horrific, like some of the things that like the complications, but I think it's just like everything's like how we view it, you know? And yeah, it's so easy to just like be so miserable through those things, or you can be like trusting in it. It's helped me so much, even with just the thing like yesterday. I was like thinking through the visa stuff. I was like, if I'm meant to be in the States, the universe will make it happen.
Think about even as you're talking, if someone heard you speak this way, it will make them happy. It will lift them up. I'm sure people around you aren't saying, ugh, you're such a drain. They're motivated by you.
Yeah, but I don't keep around anyone who's like not like that.
Well, that's my point, because what you're doing is you're creating an ecosystem of people with positive consciousness. And positive consciousness by definition is really something painful happens, but you see that it is for the good. You have certainty that this is for the good. It will be good, even though you don't understand it. It's certainty above logic.
Yeah.
Right?
I always tell myself, I'm like, okay, you don't have to understand this right now. You don't have to understand this right now. I'm just like, it's fine. It's serving you. And it's like you do that for years and years and years, and it ends up becoming your default.
The Kabbalists say that when nothing makes sense, everything is ambiguous, and you're in the greatest confusion, this is actually when the greatest miracle can be revealed. And everyone's trying to rush through the confusion, as opposed to when it feels horrible and none of it makes sense. You sit in it and you say, I was waiting for this moment my entire life. And take it one step further. I don't even want the confusion to end, because this is exactly how the Creator wanted it to be. When you achieve that consciousness, then you've shifted and transformed the energy. You've shifted to a new destiny. And that's when the miracle occurs.
That's the beautiful thing, right? I always tell myself too when I'm working through it, I'm like, well, the faster you work through this, like what you said, the miracle can occur. And it's just like, if you work through this and you realize it and you don't suppress it or resent it or make yourself busy all the time, then you can actually move closer to the miracles. Your whole life seems like it's one miracle after the next, which is your birthright. It's abundance is your birthright. I always say that. Because with MaryRuth, I there's so much there, and I know I'll just go specific with certain things with it, but with the success, and I know you manifested everything. You've achieved so much success without any outside investment, right. And you guys have achieved that success like all organically. Yeah. What do you attribute that to? And for someone listening, for their own venture, their own brand, how they can just, and it could be like what we've been talking about with manifestation, but like, what would you say? So I've spoken to a lot of founders about this topic, and everyone's all about money. Everyone's excuse on someone, it's like, oh, it's because they have an investor.
Correct.
Or, oh, they came from money.
Correct. And it's interesting because in the first 5 years of MaryRuth Organics, we never even had one employee. It was just the three of us. It was MaryRuth, her mom, and it was me. And our revenue trajectory was in the first year we did $500,000, and the second year we did 2.5, and then I went to 5.5, and then 10, and then 20. I think at the 20 million mark, we hired one person, and then it jumped to 80. And that was in 2020. That was 3 years ago. And then it grew and expanded from there. But what we focused on, our commitment was, how do we stay profitable on day one? How do we create economics or create a product and position it in the right way that is profitable on day one, so that we are not dependent on investors? Because as soon as you become dependent on investors, as soon as you become dependent on having to raise capital, forget about the fact that you're diluting your equity and your exit becomes much less later on. It's a marriage, and you start to get the energy influence of other people. That sometimes can be good, that sometimes can be bad.
So
but
true.
I always make that joke, like there's a reason why God doesn't have a partner. It's like as soon as you bring the partnerships in, there's a potential for synergy, but there's a big potential also for catastrophe. So MaryRuth and I always used to say, staying profitable means free will. We will always have the free will to do what's right for our employees, do what's right for our customers, and do what's right for ourselves. So the first thing I would tell everyone is find a way to create a product that is solving a problem, but that you do so where the economics are right. And it's so many things. And I have this joke. I wear this hat, and my friends give me so much crap for it. But my hat says EBITDA on it. But I have another hat. That says gross margin. And a lot of people don't know what gross margin is. But it's like it's this metric in your company people don't think about. But it's just a calculation of your costs and for what you're selling, so that you have profitability, you have cash flow. And most people don't realize this, and they're just like selling or whatever. And the next thing you know, their business requires another fundraise and another fundraise. My point is that one of the things I did is I spoke to successful people, and I said, give me a checklist of everything I need to check off to make this company bulletproof. I went to lunches and dinners with anyone I could find. CEOs, founders, private equity guys, bankers. And I said, one day I want to sell this company. Give me the checklist. And oh my gosh, when I saw the checklist, I realized, wow, I'm not doing 95% of these things. Like one example was, if you want to sell your company one day for a lot of money, you have to be omnichannel. You can't just be on Amazon. So you have to prove yourself on a website. You have to prove yourself in retail. You have to prove yourself in other verticals. So you're not just this like one-trick pony. So I said, wow, I'm going to start on that right away. Something else is cash flow. I forgot this. The CEO of this big company once said, the only thing more important than my mom is cash flow. I said, for something like this, because people screw that one up. I would have, let's say, a vendor, and the vendor says, I will give you this product and pay me on net 60 terms. So I have 60 days to pay that vendor. So already so far, so good. Then I went to the bank and I said, I need a credit card that has at least 60 or 90 days. And they said, well, sorry, sir, we don't have credit cards. You got to pay in 30 days. And I said, let's create a credit card that's 90 days. They said, oh, we got to run it up the line. And I said, I will create great business for you. So anyways, we got the bank to approve a 90-day credit card. And then I had to figure out how my vendors would take a credit card. This is a whole nother process. But eventually found a way, the vendor to take the credit card. And I take 90 days to pay the credit card. So now I have 150 days where I can get a product, sell the product before I even have to pay for it. So if I can get that product, sell it within, let's say, 90 days, and then I have another 60 days to pay for it, what happens is you keep increasing your cash balance sheet, and you're running a business on its own cash. This is kind of an interesting concept when I run it by founders, like, oh, you can do that? I just thought you had to keep raising money. So what you want to do is try to solve for every problem that allows you to have your freedom. And the best way to do that is talk to other successful people and pull. This is what you do. Every time you're bringing a guest on, I see you're like, so how'd you do this? Or what do you do there? And you're learning, you're listening for yourself. But I would tell anyone out there, you're starting a business, you should be going to 2 to 3 lunches a week with people who are more successful than you and saying, I need your help. I need mentorship. Show me how to do this. Show me how to do that. How did you do X, Y, and Z? And there's one thing I've learned about successful people is they love to mentor. It's the only thing that really brings them fulfillment. Making money doesn't really fulfill them. all I think it's very inexpensive, like $50. All of it goes to charity. And it is the two most powerful ways that people are learning. And I have a podcast, just like you do, Weekly Energy
we'll link
Boost.
Everything in the show notes.
So that's something I do weekly too. That's free content.
Amazing. How can people support you?
Gosh, what brings me so much joy is when people learn this wisdom, they see miracles on it. And the best thing that people can do for me is just tell me the miracle stories they're having.
Wow.
I don't monetize the spiritual part of my life. We keep all of that separate, and any coaching, everything I do, I try to do it all back to charity. So what means a lot to me is seeing people from all around the world. We have millions of people like learning this wisdom, seeing miracles. Let me know about your miracles. Message me, because it helps me understand the audience better, what they need, and just to create more powerful content for them.
Love that. Well, thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure, and we'll link everything in the show notes below.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Ayesha.